You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
What if I told you that Brian Fullerton has a blitzkrieg strategy when it comes to marketing and obtaining new customers? Hi, I'm Mr. Producer, and on today's podcast, we are going to learn all about it and how you can implement this swift and focused approach in your own business. Today, Brian is sharing 2 chapters from his best-selling book, 0 to 100,000K, available on Amazon and as an audiobook on Audible. I'll make sure to include those links in the show description. Now, the second chapter that we will hear a little bit later in the show covers how to quit wasting so much time stuck behind the windshield of your truck and better curate route density. But right now, let's enjoy Brian Fullerton reading from his book, 0 to 100,000K.
Chapter 7, The Blitzkrieg Strategy. When marketing and getting new customers, I'm often asked, what is the best approach? Do we utilize yard signs, flyers, postcards, or word of mouth? Yes. What about having a website, customer referral programs, and running Facebook ads? Yep, those too. What about investing in vehicle wraps, billboard ads, and supporting local community events or fundraisers? Again, the answer is still yes. I have a simple way to approach the conversation about getting new customers, and I call it the Blitzkrieg strategy. It means utilizing every piece of artillery and ammo you have with overwhelming force to get in front of the customer. The reality is, it all works. But what I found works the best is when it's all done together, simultaneously. That is the surefire way to make sure that you get the opportunity for that phone to ring and get that new customer. When I first started to spread my wings and get into the nicer subdivisions, I only had a little cash to reinvest into marketing. We did what we could, and where we couldn't compete in terms of quality, we made up in quantity. Do postcards work better than flyers? You know it. Do vehicle wraps work better than vehicle magnets? Of course. Don't feel that you have to break the bank to get your message out there, at least not initially. You don't have to spend a fortune on your marketing. I've seen low-budget campaigns outproduce expensive marketing efforts time and time again. The secret? Frequency. I often tell new business owners to remember to market their business as often as possible, not just during the spring rush. There's something to a quality marketing campaign utilizing different advertising strategies consistently over the season that can generate huge success. You don't need a huge budget to help you make that happen. Consistency is the key here, and continually having those soft touches and impressions on your customers has been the best way to grow your brand and generate new business. Let's briefly discuss each advertising strategy for a quick second and where to begin. We'll break this into 2 categories: traditional print advertising and high-tech with social media, websites, and ads. The biggest misconception with marketing is that it has to be expensive to get results. I don't believe that to be true. Some of the cheapest marketing efforts I've found deliver the best results. Initially, you may have to start with a 10-cent paper flyer explaining a little bit more about who you are and what kind of services you offer. That's great. We have a great example of the template we created on our website at launchpreneuracademy.com. This simple flyer that you fold and place on top of a mailbox flag or in the mailbox chute for advertisements can be an effortless way to get the word out about your new business quickly. We use this as a low-cost way to drum up business all the time. A quick tip: never place anything inside the mailbox. That is illegal. An upgrade from flyers would be postcard marketing. What was the most effective form of marketing that helped our business grow in those early days? It was hiring a marketing agency to help us with quality postcard designs. We would purchase around 2,500 to 5,000 postcards every spring and pass them out once the weather breaks. For us in Michigan, that was usually mid to late March. Once everyone experiences that first spring day when the weather is 50 degrees and people start wearing shorts and a t-shirt again, that's our signal to start this marketing campaign. The phone usually starts to ring immediately after, and a flood of inquiries comes in for quotes and bids. A quick tip: ensure that you're ready for the influx of new calls. Be prepared to answer. Yes, I said it. Answer your phone when somebody calls over this next 5-day period. As someone who personally sends almost every call to voicemail myself, this is a time to pick up the phone. New inquiries are coming in, and you must be ready to take those calls. Also, ensure that your voicemail is clear and that there is space for any additional calls you may miss. Once you cast your nets in the water, you have to be ready to reel them in. Another great way to spread your message around town is with yard signs. This can be expensive to the new business owner, sometimes costing $10 plus per sign until you find a quality volume designer where you can get that price to half of that, typically from an online merchant. Yard signs are an effective way to get new business and get the word out about a specific part of town where your company is now offering service in that location. We use yard signs at busy intersections around town, the local grocery store, and at the exits of certain HOAs where we are looking to get more business. A quick tip, put your yard sign out on Friday afternoon after the local government and the city workers are gone for the week, and folks are likely to drive by them over the weekend. All too often, we've put out 5 to 10 yard signs around town on a Monday, only to receive a call to round them all up by the city ordinance officer by Monday afternoon. Not fun, as you can imagine. One last tip, stick to a reasonable size, something that is 12 inches by 18 inches, which gets your message across but isn't too obnoxious either. We found that to be a happy medium to be marketing your business and not having them plucked out, at least initially, from the local city office. Vehicle and trailer wraps are my favorite ways to market your business. Although it might not be an initial marketing tactic for your business due to its price tags, wraps can be a great way to get your message out there. It's like a rolling billboard going down the street that says, "Hey, look at me." An eye-catching design that people see repetitively as your rig is zipping across town is a no-brainer strategy to get the phone to ring and add credibility and authority to your business. Let's face it, when a wrapped box truck, company vehicle, or enclosed landscape trailer pulls up, you immediately think professional, right or wrong. The sticker shock can catch you off guard sometimes, so be prepared to spend $2,000 to $5,000 for something like this, or even more. I promise you, spring for it as soon as possible. Some of our best customers, including commercial accounts, have come from vehicle wraps and folks, quote, "seeing our crews all across town," end quote. I always laugh when somebody sees us at the gas station and mentions that they see our trailers and our equipment all over town. Quick hint, we only have the one rig setup going around town for our company right now. Next is having a quality website and Google My Business listing to drive leads and establish additional credibility for your company. Whenever I see a business, I first Google them and see what they're all about. I will skim through the reviews and the company's photos and decide if I want more information. These days, if you're not on Google, you do not exist, period. Registering a Google My Business listing is relatively easy and free. Invest in a quality website to take your web presence to the next level as well. Nothing adds more credibility to your company than having a website where people can look up and get more information about your services. When I started my business, a website would have cost me $10,000, if not more. Today, you can get a quality website that can help you with the first impressions for around $2,000. It's money well spent, I guarantee you. A quick tip, make the design and layout easy to navigate and have a call to action on the front page. Refrain from burying your prospect in endless photos and testimonies about your company where they will lose interest and their attention will fade. Give them enough information to add credibility and point them to a call now button or a submission form to get more information. That's it. The last category I wanted to touch on is where folks understand it has the most significant upside, but they give it the least amount of time and attention it deserves. I'm talking, of course, about social media. One of the most effective ways to market your business is with Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. When brainstorming your business name, check if the handles are available on these popular platforms first. If so, secure them as quickly as possible, even if you don't plan to build them out for months to come. Building out your social media pages takes time, but once they're established, all you have to do is maintain them by adding new content regularly. You'd be surprised to learn how many people snoop on your business or on your social media before they ever pick up the phone to call you. I do it all the time. I want to see how active they are on social media and if they stay relevant with their work and their services. If your last post on social media was 2 years ago, that makes me pump the brakes about the credibility of your business. A quick tip, how many times you post and the type of photos or work you highlight are less critical than it is with the consistency of your posting. No matter your upload frequency, pick something you can stick to. At least once a week on these platforms is a great start. Keep them active, keep them updated, make sure your links are up to date, and engage with people who comment, like, and show interest in your work. Every person starting their business will have a different approach and a different budget to work with. We started with cheap lawn flyers, vehicle magnets, and free business cards. Over time, we graduated to quality postcard designs, trailer wraps, yard signs, and websites, but it took time. The key is to keep reinvesting as much as possible for as long as possible. How we market our business today drastically differs from how we first started. If there's any one thing that you're going to get good at marketing your business.
Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with another chapter from Brian Fullerton's best-selling book, 0 to 100,000 K. It's the complete guide on how to start a successful lawn care company, and we've got more from the book coming up. It's finally happening. Spring is in bloom, and so is your chance to elevate your business with the Spring Postcard Training Program and Design from Lawntrepreneur Academy. Marketing, it's not a one-shot deal. It's about consistent effort and strategic outreach. That's why we've crafted these postcards to simplify your spring marketing efforts. Say goodbye to the struggle of designing your own and hello to our professionally crafted templates, tailored specifically for your lawn and landscape business. With just a few simple steps, you can customize the postcard with your business details and then let our trusted partner, Postcard Mania, handle the rest. Whether you're targeting new clients or reconnecting with existing ones, our spring postcard is your key to a thriving season. Order now and make this year your most successful yet. There's a link for the Lawntrepreneur Academy in the podcast description. Hey, just a quick reminder to all of our Link members. Tonight's special guest, none other than Corey Ballard, who ran a $20+ million business. It's a live stream at 7 p.m., and we can't wait to see you guys for this interview. You get the opportunity to submit your questions to one of the greats in our industry, so make sure that you've secured your Link membership. That can be purchased at LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com. You'll need to have a Link membership in order to participate in the webinar, and of course, there's many other benefits, which many people just rave about being a part of this community of like-minded lawntrepreneurs. Right now, though, let's continue on with the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast.
Chapter 8, Building Route Density. An old saying goes, one hand washes each other and they both wash the face. Two items that go hand in hand with a thriving lawn and landscaping company are excellent marketing and great route density. I will say this, on the record, outside of having quality pricing and knowing your numbers, having great route density and having a defined service area will be the number one thing that makes or breaks your new enterprise. What exactly is route density, and why is it so essential to spend time on this as we grow our company? After all, isn't the idea to get as many new customers as possible? Who cares where they're located, right? Well, not exactly. One of the biggest enemies to your service business is windshield time. That is the dead space that happens between jobs. There's no money to be made when we incur windshield time. That being said, the idea for lawn maintenance is to keep our routes as tight as possible, all in the same city, or even better, in the same subdivisions, if you can imagine. The only time we would bend this rule is if we had a more significant dollar job that we were taking care of for a customer. Think about a project north of $5,000 that may require you to be on site for 3 days. Having 30 to 45 minutes of drive time could be worth it for a job of that size. But for an average $40 to $50 weekly mow client, probably not. Where I first learned about route density and how I came to study this topic began right in my own backyard. When I got back in business, my first customers came from the trailer park where I grew up. It wasn't out of the question to mow 10 trailer park lawns in an 8-hour day. As our equipment improved and we became more efficient in general, there were some days where we had to cut north of 40+ trailer park lawns in one day. I know some people give trailer park lawns a bad rap, but hey, that's where I started. When we were getting $15 a yard and knocking out 40+ lawns a day, that added up to some good coin. The best part about it, we didn't even have to tow the truck and trailer around to do it. Admittedly, it looked a little hillbilly zipping up and down the trailer parks, putting our string trimmer on the mower deck in tow with a backpack blower, but it worked. It was an incredibly efficient setup, and that was the birth of my realization that having great route density would be our ticket to success when it came to lawn maintenance. When I first decided to branch out of the trailer park and get into the nicer subdivisions, the very first thing we did was set boundaries for our service area. Where we live in Metro Detroit, Michigan, the roads around us are primarily divided by mile roads. Think 6 mile, 7 mile, and yes, 8 mile road. We also have a bunch of streets that run north and south, which make for a grid-like effect where we live. When I took a look at a map way before Google Earth, I looked at the density of homes in the subdivisions in my area and drew what I will call our service area. It was a square 2-mile area broken up by mile roads and major thoroughfares. I know what some of you are thinking. 2 miles? Is that even possible to run a successful business operating in such a small area? Remember, we live in a metro market where there are 3 million people in a 45-minute radius of where we live. The city we work in is 9 square miles and has 18,000 people. Finding 75 to 100 weekly lawn accounts is a minor detail. Naturally, you may have to expand your route as you get more rural or countryside. If you live in a primary metro suburban market or even have a sprawling section of town, you may have a pocket of customers and another grouping 15 minutes away. That's okay. You can always create your mow routes based on being in a particular subdivision on one day, in a different neighborhood on another day. Similarly, you can be on the north side of town one day, the east side of the city 2 other days, and the south side of your town the last 2 days, and so on. The biggest takeaway for building your routes is establishing service areas, drawing a hard boundary, and sticking to it. I don't care if your brother-in-law or your Aunt Susie lives across the street from your boundary zone. Don't do it. To establish route density and thicken in your service area, you must have defined boundaries where you provide service. Fast forward a handful of years, as our business grew and we got into the nicer subdivisions, my goal was to take over and become the dominant lawn care provider. Know what's better than mowing 3 lawns in a subdivision? Mowing 30 lawns. When we branched into a new subdivision, we had to build our way up. It always started with one customer, one new client that was willing to take us on. That's all we needed. A chance to get our foot in the door, do a good job, and grow from there. Often we would create customer referral programs, giving our current customers 2 free mows if they referred a neighbor who signed up for weekly service. Other times we became friends with the HOA and asked if they'd be willing to make a community Facebook post sharing about our service. We often found that the clients we picked up were already advocating on our behalf. You want to talk about a fantastic feeling, that is. One of the questions I get the most is, Brian, can you make good money in lawn care? My simple answer is always yes. The biggest tip I can share is what we've been talking about in this entire chapter, insane route density. In the beginning, we were all over the place, servicing dozens of subdivisions in areas of town. In one subdivision, we had 2 lawns. In another, we had 3. In another, a pocket of 5, and so forth. What turned our business around was when we eliminated the outliers and focused on 4 or 5 key subdivisions. That changed everything for us. If you're in a major city, focus on one side of town instead of driving all over or having routes on different days around town. The more often you are in a subdivision, the more credibility you have and your brand will exponentially increase. You become the authority when your rig is parked in the same subdivision for 5, 6, and 7 hours a day. Everyone knows of you and you become the guy for the subdivision. This is how you can generate $1,000 to $1,500 a day in revenue with your crew without even breaking a sweat. There are now times when we unload the mower from the trailer and hop lawn to lawn, cutting, trimming, and blowing without ever racking the mower. The second guy on the team is responsible for driving the rig from home to home, while the other guy on the mower is responsible for cutting, blowing, and zipping onto the next property. It's beautiful when you can mow a lawn in 15 to 20 minutes or less and mow 12 to 15 lawns by lunch. Once you come back to get your second win for the day, you can easily tackle another 10 to 15 properties. This strategy has become one of our most important keys to success, no doubt about it. We have examples now in our business where we tackle 35 plus lawns, including the 7-acre HOA for that subdivision on certain mow days, and can post up $2,000 in revenue by 4:30 p.m. It's not that wild to believe. My heart goes out to the folks who fail to recognize that windshield time is the kiss of death for their business year after year. We get paid to rack up hours on our machines, period. He who logs the most hours at the right price wins. It's that simple. It takes time to build great routes and to thicken up your route density, but when you do, it is a beautiful thing. It takes about 5 years to establish great route density in your area, so patience is vital. Continuously market those subdivisions, put out yard signs, talk to the HOA, and take over those parts of town or subdivisions to generate significant revenue.
Once again, you've been listening to Brian Fullerton sharing from his book 0 to 100,000K, available on Audible and as a paperback on Amazon. The link is in the podcast description. We do hope you found today's information extremely helpful, and you can help us by sharing the podcast with a friend. I'm Mr. Producer. Have a superb day, and we'll be back on Friday. Before you turn off the podcast, there are 2 things that we believe you will be highly interested in. First, if you're looking to stay up to date with the latest trends and insights in the world of lawn care, then you'll want to subscribe to our free email newsletter. It shows up in your inbox 3 times a week and includes a Monday motivational to kick off your week, a Wednesday what's new to keep you informed, and a Friday weekly recap of all the content we put out. The second thing is we have just launched Lawntrepreneur Academy Link. Now you can be a part of an exclusive community that links you to those who can help you grow in your lawn care business. Joining Lawntrepreneur Link will give you the tools that you need to stay accountable, get real-time expert advice, and find belonging in a community of folks who are passionate about the lawn care industry just like you. Visit LawntrepreneurAcademy.com to learn how Link membership gives you unique access to monthly hangouts, bidding hour calls, coaching calls, expert lessons, and more. Stay ahead of the curve and level up your business with a membership to the Lawntrepreneur Academy Link. Find an easy-to-use link in the podcast description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.